Hello everyone, I am Shalini Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Commerce at GEMS Engineering Management Technical Campus, Greater Noida. So in the last class we discussed about the books of accounts and documents which needs to be maintained in the income tax law and practices. So in today's class we will discuss about the income application and diversion of the income. So let's see what is an income. So income under section 2 subsection 24, the income which is being earned by a person which is taxable under section 2 subsection 24 it is defined as the income. So what are the all heads which comes under income? That is profits and gains, dividend, voluntary contribution received by the trust, voluntary contribution which is received by the trust and it is included under the section under the definition of income. So any such contribution which is received by following types of trust, funds, association or bodies etc. are included in the income of such bodies. So let's see, let me tell you what are the various contributions. That is contribution received by the trust created wholly or partly for charitable or religious purposes, contribution received by a specific research association, contribution received by a fund or institution set up for charitable purpose and notified under section 10 subsection 23 or 23 subsection C of clause 4 and 5, contribution received by any university or other education institution or hospital is referred in section 10 subsection 23 C. So these are the voluntary contributions which are received. Other one is the value of any perquisite or a profit in lieu of salary is taxable under section 17 subsection 2 clause 3. Any special allowance on or benefit other than prerequisite included under sub clause 3 specifically granted to assessee to meet expenses wholly, necessarily and exclusively for the performance of the duties of an office or employment of the profit. Any allowance granted to the assessee either to meet his personal expenses at the place where the duties of his office or employment of profit are ordinarily performed by him, or at a place where he ordinarily resides to compensate him for the increased cost of living. Value of any benefit or amenity, whether convertible into money or not, obtained by a representative assessee or by any person on whose behalf such benefit is received by the representative assessee, and sum is paid by the representative assessee in respect of any obligation which but for such payment would have been payable by the person on whose behalf representative assessee has made such payments. The value of any benefit or perquisites, whether convertible into money or not, obtained from a company either by a director or by a person who has a substantial interest in the company, or by a relative of a director of such person, or any sum paid by such company in respect of any obligation but for which such payment would have been payable by the director or other person aforesaid. Any sum chargeable to income tax under section 28 subsection U and clause 3 or section 41 or section 59. Any sum chargeable under section chargeable to tax under section 28 subsection 3A. Any sums which is chargeable under section 28 subsection 3B and subsection 3C. The value of any benefit or perquisite taxable under section 28 subsection 4. Any capital gain taxable under section 45. Any sum whether received or receivable in cash or in kind, and an agreement for not carrying out any activity in relation to any business, or not sharing any know-how, patent, copyright, trademark, license, franchise or any other business or commercial rights of similar nature, or information or technique which is likely to assist in the manufacture or processing of the goods or provisions of services The profits and the gains of any business or of insurance carried on by a mutual insurance company or by a cooperative society, computed in accordance with section 44, or any surplus taken to be such profits and gains by virtue of provisions contained in the first schedule, or any winnings from lotteries, crossword puzzles, races including horse races, card games or other games of any sort, or from gambling or betting of any form of nature whosoever, any sum received by the SSC as his employer's contribution to any provident fund or superannuation fund, or any fund set up under provisions of Employees State Insurance Act 1948, or any other fund for the welfare of such employees, any sum received under a key main insurance policy, including the sum allocated by way of bonus on such policy, or any sum received by an individual or HUF for any person during 2013-14 in cash or by issue of check or draft, or by any other mode or by way of credit, otherwise than by the way of consideration of goods or services, but does not includes any aggregate amount of gifts or gifts received, whether in cash or in form of property, exceeding rupees 50,000 in previous year by an individual or Hindu undivided family from a non-relative shall be treated as an income which shall be taxable in the hands of recipient. Gifts received by a firm or closely held company as provided in section 56 subsection 2 of clause 7a, or any consideration for issue of shares by a closely held company as exceeds the fair market value of shares as provided in section 56 subsection 2 clause 7b with effect from assessment year 2013 and 14. So, these are the few incomes which are taxable under section 2 subsection 24 under the income tax law. But the definition of the term income as given above does not explain what income is. It only tells that above mentioned receipts are also included in the meaning of term income. So, definition given under section 2 subsection 24 is inclusive and not exhaustive. So, the term income simply means something which comes in, and it is a periodical return with regularity or expected regularity. It's nowhere mentioned that income refers to only monetary return. It includes the value of benefits and perquisites. So, anything which can reasonably and properly be described as income is taxable under the Act of Income Tax Law, and unless it is specifically mentioned that it should be exempted under various provisions of this act. And the term income also includes not only what is being received by using that property, but also the amount which is being saved by using it. So, anything which is convertible into income is regarded as a source of accrual income. Next comes application of income. What is the meaning of application of income? So, application of income means spending of income after it is being earned by the SSC. Such amount shall not be excluded from the total income of the SSC, as it is merely application of earned incomes. In other words, applied income shall be taxable in the hands of SSC. For example, if Mr. A is liable to pay rupees 2,000 per month to Mr. B, who is his ex-wife, as an alimony sum. So, Mr. A, being an employee of Mr. C, instructs him to pay rupees 2,000 per month out of his salary and disperse the remaining salary to him. Whether this amount of rupees 2,000 per month be included in the total income of Mr. A, or is it a case of diversion of income of Mr. A and not taxable in his hand. So, this is the case of application of income by Mr. A and not diversion of income. Hence, it will be included in the total income of Mr. A, because this amount rupees 2,000 per month is an obligation to Mr. A to pay to Mr. B. So, Miss B out of his income, and not an income in which Miss B had been overriding entitlement from Mr. C. So, before being earned by Mr. A. So, in other words, we can say that this is an income of Mr. A which is applied by him to fulfill an obligation, and hence it is included in his total income, and a mere arrangement to make Mr. C make such payments directly to Mr. B won't make it a case of diversion of the income. So, this application of the example of application of income, like Mr. A earning the money and he is paying a certain percentage of his income as an alimony to his wife, that alimony is not exempted, that is not a diversion, because that particular income which he is earning, that he is earning out of his salary, out of his services being provided to the company. So, he is taxable to that earning. So, here we cannot say that that particular earning is a diversion. What do you mean by diversion of income? So, diversion of income is the process of diverting income before it is earned by the SSC. Such amount shall be excluded from the total income of SSC as the income is diverted to someone else before being earned by the SSC. So, in case of diversion of the income, there is an overriding title of any other person on such income. So, the income before being earned by the SSC reaches such person and hence is not chargeable to tax in the hands of the SSC. For example, MS ABC is a partnership firm in which A and his two sons B and C are partners. The partnership deed provides that after the death of Mr. A, B and C shall continue the business of the firm subject to a condition that 20% of the profit of the firm shall be given to Mrs. D, wife of Mr. A, mother of B and C. So, after the death of Mr. A, whether this 20% amount of profit be included in total income of the firm of Mrs. A, B, C, or is it a case of diversion of income and not it is taxable in the hands. So, this is a case of diversion of income, and the said 20% amount shall not be included in total income of the Messrs. A, B, C, because it is deductible from its total income. This is because the clause mentioned in partnership deed has given an overriding title of 20% of profit to Mrs. D, and such income is a precondition for the firm to continue its business. In other words, this 20% profit reaches Mrs. D before it becomes income of the firm. Hence, it is a case of diversion. So, in case of diversion, the process of diverting, here the title has already been diverted. So, when in the example as we saw, when there was a partnership deed was made, it was already defined that Mrs. D, the wife of Mr. A, will be paid 20% of the profit, and that 20% is not included in the total income of the firm. So, that is all for now. So, in this lecture we discussed about the income which are taxable. So, different sorts of income which will be receiving, that will be taxable unless and until it is specifically mentioned in the provisions of income tax law. And we discussed here about the application and diversion of the income. So, application, which if you are earning something, that is an application and it will be treated as taxable, and if anything is titled in advance, then it is a diversion. So, it will be exempted from the income tax. Thank you.